Stop asking which AI model is the smartest. Ask what your computer can actually hold. There is one number on your machine that decides everything, and almost nobody checks it first. It is the memory on your graphics card, not the score, not the brand, not the hype. Because a model that does not fit does not run slowly. It does not run at all. And this month, every size class got a new best model, from the smallest laptop to a full server. 5 rungs, find yours, and you are done choosing. So first, go find your number. It takes 30 seconds, and you only do it once. On Windows, you open Task Manager, go to Performance, and click your graphics card. The line that says Dedicated Memory is your bracket. Here it is 12 gigabytes. On a Mac, there is no separate card, so your unified memory is the number. Write it down, because the rest of this video hangs on that one figure. Now, why any of this is suddenly worth your evening. A year ago, anything small enough to fit on your own card could barely hold a conversation. Today, a 3 billion model beats what 12 billion managed last year. And when it runs on your own machine, there is no bill per question, no waiting in a queue, and nothing leaves the room. Rung 1, 4 to 8 gigabytes. This is a laptop, a second-hand gaming card, or a recent phone. For years, this bracket was an honest compromise. You ran something small, and you forgave it a lot. The model to run here is Nanbeige 4.2, 3 billion parameters from the Chinese company behind the Boss Zipin job platform. Its trick is that it reuses its own layers instead of stacking more of them. So it thinks like something bigger, without ever having to store something bigger. And on a test made of real GitHub problems, it beats a 9 billion model and a 12 billion one. 3 billion parameters, outscoring models 3 and 4 times its size. And on a graduate-level science exam, it scores 87, running in about 2 gigabytes. A year ago, that number was what the biggest paid models were bragging about. So, what do you actually do with it? The boring jobs you have a lot of. It also holds 256,000 tokens at once, so a whole project fits in its head. 2 gigabytes, no internet, no bill, and it outthinks last year's mid-size models. That is the floor now. Rung 2, 8 to 24 gigabytes, a normal gaming card, the kind you can find used for a couple of hundred. And this is where something happens that should not be possible. A 27 billion model normally needs about 54 gigabytes, which is nowhere near what you have. A team from Caltech called Prism ML took that model and squeezed it in a way nobody was really doing. Every single weight in the network was retrained to be one of 3 values. Nothing was left at full size. And here is what that does: 27 billion parameters in under 4 gigabytes. That is smaller on disk than a full-size 2 billion model, and it is the first of its kind that runs on a phone. Your gut says they must have destroyed it to get there. By their own testing, mostly they did not. That number comes from the maker's own tests, so treat it as their claim, not an independent one. Speed is real, though. On a current top-end card, it produces 163 words worth of text per second. And even on the phone, it keeps going at about 11 a second, which is roughly reading pace. It is free, it is properly licensed, and it works on both Mac and NVIDIA without any fuss. Rung 3, 24 to 96 gigabytes. Now you have real room, so you stop squeezing. Here you run the model that Bonsai was carved out of, at full quality. Qwen 3.6, 27 billion. It trades blows with models several times its size. But these thinking models have a hidden cost, and you feel it the moment you run one yourself. Every one of those thinking words is time you spend staring at a screen. So a small European team built a fix, and their co-founder is the researcher behind Word2Vec. It cuts the thinking in half on average, with no measurable drop in the answers. On school maths problems, it went further, 3/4 less thinking, and the score went up instead of down. To be precise, because this gets twisted online, it is not a smarter model, it just stops rambling. Which, when you are the one waiting, is the upgrade you actually notice. Rung 4, 96 to 192 gigabytes. We have left gaming cards behind. This whole rung exists because of one small box that changed the maths. It holds models that a graphics card of the same price cannot even load. And the model built for exactly that box arrived on the 21st of July, Laguna S 2.1. Most of the model sits idle on every word, and that is exactly why it fits on one box and still runs fast. Here is the surprise. On a test where it has to drive a real terminal, it beats DeepSeek's flagship, which is many times its size. Being fair, the very top of that chart is still out of reach. It beats models above its weight, not everything. And on a harder coding test, letting it think as long as it wants takes it from 16% to 40%. It is not just a number either. In one unbroken 50-minute run, over 180 steps, nobody helping, it built a working browser engine from an empty folder. And the makers are honest about the rough edges. It can chew on a simple job far too long. But an open model that keeps going until its own tests pass is a genuinely new thing to own. Top rung, 192 to 384 gigabytes. Almost nobody is up here. If you are, the reward is a model from a Korean startup that almost nobody has heard of. Inside it are 384 separate expert networks, and only a handful wake up for any given word. On the closest thing this field has to a neutral scoreboard, only 2 open models in the world score higher. One honest wart, it talks a lot. On their own measurements, it produced 3 times more output than the average model to get there. And because the weights are open, nobody can rate limit you, raise your price, or take it away in an update. So that is the whole ladder, 5 brackets, 5 models, all of them on hardware that sits on a desk. Now the honest part, because I'm not going to oversell this. None of these are the big paid models. The closed ones still sit higher, and local still trails them. This is the best you can own. It is not the best that exists, and those are different things. So how do you choose? The rule is almost boringly simple. When it fits, bigger still wins. That is the entire decision. But the real headline is not any single model on this list. It is that whatever fits your machine today is far better than what fitted it 6 months ago. And if you have never done this, do not overthink it. It is one install and one command. Or use LM Studio, which is the same idea with a window and a download button. You're about 10 minutes away from a private model, not a whole weekend. Every model here is a free download, so pull the one for your bracket and find out what your own machine can do. Tell me in the comments which number you got, and I will tell you which rung you are on. If this saved you a week of trial and error, subscribe. I take the local AI world apart here every week.